All of you who subscribe to this channel know that I own an iPad Pro 12.9 inch. It's the iPad 1 first generation I'm having here. So if you just compare the sizes, it's a huge improvement, isn't it? Mobility was improved over the years as well. Look how small the screen size is in comparison to the iPad Pro 2012. You see the matte finish? Well, that's the paper-like I have on there anyway, and it makes it the perfect note-taking device. And as I showed you in my ebook, it is the perfect note-taking device to take notes. So I have it with me all the time. But still, even if you compare it to other laptops for people sitting in the meetings, having this in front of their faces, writing there like this and in the meetings, and you just sitting there with your iPad, or you just have it flat and scribbling down notes, it's a huge improvement. However, even then, and if you're using a case to carry it around, it is still a big device. There's also the 11-inch iPad Pro 2018 people really like because of the increased mobility, but actually I wanted to get something else. I found a perfect handwriting note-taking device, the iPad Mini 5 from 2019, which you can use with the Apple Pencil. And how this improves note-taking on a daily basis in meetings, walking around, and what accessories I use to make it even more portable and mobile, I'll let you know now. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Paperless Movement YouTube channel. I'm Tom Solid, and I research the best hardware and software solutions you need to digitize your life and to become more productive at work and in your home office, so you will get time for the things that really matter to you. And today we talk about hardware, and I just showed it in the beginning. It is the iPad Mini 5 and how it compares to the iPad Pro 12.9 inch. And how can you compare this anyway? So we will just start with the size. I won't go into detail about the performance. I can just tell you it is so fast that you can use an Apple Pencil and you can draw and write on it. So let's start with the MacBook Air from 2015, and then having the iPad Pro 2017 12.9 inch, the mobility increased here. However, if you compare this with the new MacBook Air that just came out, you see that the new MacBook Air even is smaller than the iPad Pro 12.9 inch from 2017. Nevertheless, with the iPad Pro 2018, we will get the size back, and you see this here. So this is a really improvement with the overall size, isn't it? So because if you compare these two iPads with each other, and they have both the same screen size, the iPad Pro 2018 obviously has a big advantage in size, but also in weight. And now we come to the iPad Mini. Okay, so if we put this iPad Mini in comparison with the iPad Pro, you see the big size difference. And if you compare this to the iPhone XS Max, you see it is just about double the size from the iPhone Max. Or if you compare it to the iPhone XR, which is the normal size. Now we have all devices just in size comparison. So obviously if you're sitting in a meeting using an iPhone, it is the most mobile thing. However, you can't use your Apple Pencil, and it is still not a good etiquette to use an iPhone while you're in a meeting, because it looks like you're not interested in what the people are talking, even if you take notes on an iPhone. So this is not the case if you're using the iPad Mini. So with the iPad Mini, you would sit there like this, writing down. So obviously, if you read my ebook, Paperless Note-Taking Like a Pro, you know what has to be on there. You saw it already on my other devices. You need to get the paper-like screen protector. I'm using this paper-like screen protector since it was in Kickstarter, and for all my devices I got one of these, and I can tell you, you can watch off my videos where I showed you in detail why I actually need these screen protectors, and I was so happy to learn that there's a screen protector for the iPad Mini 2019 available as well. Any professional note taker or artist who is drawing on iPads knows that we need this, and I will just put this on live now on the iPad Mini 5. Okay, and there we go. It's perfect, isn't it? So there's no bubble, there's nothing at all, and there's the Apple Pencil, and now we can start. And I tell you, I cannot live without the Paper-like on it. So if you're interested, the link to the Paper-like is in the description down below. There's not only the reason that you have more resistance, so it feels much more like writing on paper and you can be much more precise writing on it, but it is also the palm. Okay, so if there's pure glass on there, you will stick on the glass and will, you know, it's double the thing. You have no control over the pen on the glass, but it also will stick the palm on the glass, so it is not as easy. But with this screen protector, it's much easier to slide along. Okay, so many people say, okay, the iPad mini for note-taking, that's too small to write on there, because if I go on the side here, I have no palm control anymore, so it's not convenient. And now it comes another accessory I really recommend if you have an iPad mini, which is this one. It's a ring that I know many buy for their iPhones, so they put it on there, so you have to control over their iPhone and they don't lose it. So you put it like this, and there are also such pop-outs where you can just put your fingers like this. But in this case, the ring is much better for the iPad mini. And the good thing is that's the space gray version, and there's also the space gray ring here. It fits perfectly, so we will just bring it together like this. I will just put it a bit on top. I tell you two reasons for doing this. If you put it directly on the Apple sign, it might not stick properly. But in addition, I will show you that it's much easier to hold the whole thing if you just put it on top. Okay, so there we go. Just press it down and that's it. And there you have the ring. So you can just fold it back so it is away. You can put it like this and you have already a bit of an angle to write on. That's very nice. However, you also can buy this dock here where you can just use this, put it like this and put it onto the dock, and now you have a perfect angle to write on. So I think that's awesome. So that's already a high mobility, but with this ring it makes it such a good mobile device. Just the right size to carry around everywhere you want to go to. And with this ring here, you can just adjust it like this, and you will have the perfect hold with the ring attached to write like this. As this is turnable, we can even hold it like this, and this is how I figured out I'm using it the most, because it is so lightweighted that it's easy to hold like this. However, without the ring, it is not very comfortable, but with the ring, you can hold it tight and you can start writing. And with the iOS 12 update, there's the possibility just tap on the screen and you can start taking notes in the Apple Notes version. So there's not the excuse like, oh no, I prefer paper, because it's already on hand when somebody is talking to you on the floor, you know, telling you a task or something like that, that you have just to keep in mind. I take out the iPad mini like I would do for a piece of paper, just tap on it and start to write. So as well, if you are using any other note-taking apps, like for example Noteshelf 2, and you are using a digital planner like my digital planner from 2019, which is actually on 50% off now in the shop, you can have easily access to this, and you want to access this journal as quick as possible, like I just showed with the Apple Notes. It is easy to do so. So this works for Noteshelf 2 actually. So you could just go to Add Siri and then you just record a phrase, whatever you want, and then you could open just by talking to Siri. But of course, when somebody is standing in front of you, just want to say, you don't want to say something to Siri just to open the book and then you start writing. That's not convenient enough. So that's why I want to show you now how you also can quickly access your digital journal, for example, as soon as you need it. All you have to do is just go back and go to your widget sections, and here you see already all my recent journals I used, and there are plenty of them. So if you have using a daily digital journal, it will be always there. Or you want to make a quick note, then you just tap here on the plus button and it will just open and you can just writing down. So if you just go back to your notebooks, just press the plus button. Here's quick create, so we can choose if it should be landscape, what I'm using actually, and what should be the default paper and so on. And we can use the random cover, so it picks a random cover all the time, or a default cover, so I know it is a quick note, and we can just leave it like this. then we go back, close the iPad, and then again the same situation. Oh, let me just write this down very quickly. So you just swipe over, press the button here, and it will go in, create a note, and you can just start writing. So it's as easy as that. Or we can just go back again, and you know that you already want to add this to your diary like in the digital journal. Then you just swipe over again, and here it is, the recent notebooks you just been writing in. Open it, and it will open on the last page you've been writing on, which is on a day then, and then you can start writing. So this might be too small for you to write, so all of these note-taking apps also offer a magnifying glass, which makes it much easier to write on this. To write on this, and you can turn it around like this, so it makes it much easier. So you just press enter, and it will just go to the next line, and you can write. However, the performance in Noteshelf 2 using the Apple Pencil might not as good as in the iPad Pro. So it is easy to write, as you see, it works perfectly, but you might see a difference there. So another note-taking app I would recommend using is Nibu. So because usually when I'm walking around with this, then I just want to scribble down something I want to process later anyway. So in here I just start to write something down. And you see it's converting it directly, and if it doesn't recognize, you see that it didn't recognize the word correctly. So there we go, just double tap, it will convert it directly to plain text, and then you can just go on top here and export as text, for example, and then I go for my Todoist, and it will open in here, and it will just create a new task with the text I have written there. And I can just add it to my task manager, or I can just go export to Word. It will convert it into a Word file, which also conserves all the formatting I have done inside here. If I double tap here, I can just choose title, subtitle, or paragraph text, and it will conserve all this. So the downside with an app like Nibu, you don't have this quick access like you have for Noteshelf 2. However, I will show you a quick workaround how you can do the same thing for any app you want to quick access anyway. It's just by using shortcuts. So if we can just go to shortcuts, so all we have to do is to create a new shortcut, and we just tap here on the top right, and we call it, for example, Nibu. It's as easy as that. Choose another icon like, well, the pen, so we know already. The color of Nibu is around this, and done. And all we have to do now is just go here. We see it already here, apps, and just open app, okay? And when we are in here, we can choose the app we want to open. So there are all your apps installed listed here. We want to open Nibu, add Nibu, and done. And now we have the Siri shortcut of Nibu here. We just put it on top here, just by pressing long and drag it around. And now when we close the iPad mini and we open it again, swipe over, and here you go, on the top left you see the shortcut Nibu. Press Nibu and it will, well, it asks for your Touch ID and it will just open Nibu. If you want to see what else you can do, like, you know, creating hand-drawn diagrams that you can export to PowerPoint, or you can draw formulas and so on, Nibu, I made videos about this, go check them out. However, I just wanted to point out that for the iPad mini, this is the perfect app to be mobile. So of course I have the Apple Pencil here. So where put the Apple Pencil? I have no case yet, and obviously I would need a case where this would stick on as well, because I really need this. It's perfect to hold, and with the stand here it's in a perfect angle if I want to write something down. It's also easy to use the foldable keyboard I showed you in another video as well, which is just about this size and it works perfectly. So if you want to write something with the keyboard, this works as well. So if you know any case where I can just put this Apple Pencil to, just let me know in the comments below. If you like the video and you think that's a great alternative than carrying around the big screen or even the 11-inch iPad Pro, give it a thumbs up, tell your friends, share it with everybody who would be interested in the paperless movement as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and stay tuned to a new update when I actually found the right case to use with this awesome device.